What's going on, podcasters and YouTubers? This is Jav here, one of your hosts from the Real Fan Review. Today with me, I got my brother B.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah, man, it's going to be us two holding it down this week. We got no Sanj, no Al this week, but I'm sure the fellas will be back as soon as they can be, whether that's next week or the week after. But this week, man, me and B are going to be talking about that Eternals trailer. I wanted to talk about Spider-Man, but I'm not talking about that leak version. I refuse. No.
I
We're going to
haven't
talk
seen
about
it.
that.
I haven't seen it.
Don't watch it. It's a waste of time. It's a video off of a cell phone, off of someone else's cell phone with a video. It's weird. It's very weird. So this sounds great, though. I can't wait to see the real one. We're going to talk about that What If episodes 1 and 2 because we forgot to talk about What If last week, but last week that episode didn't impress me, so I guess I kind of skipped it for a reason. We got the Free Guy spoiler review because Brandon got a chance to watch it, so we can get into a little bit of spoilers on the Free Guy movie there, and then we'll give you a little prep for Candyman, and that's we said it once, we can't say it 4 more times. Brandon, don't ruin it. Don't call Candyman. Oh, I just said it a second time.
What about Candyman?
Stop it. That's 3. That's 3.
That's
We
it.
cannot
All you
say his
need?
name. No, it's 5. Don't do
What do
it.
you mean it's 5? It's 3 times.
No, it's 5 times. 5 times.
Wait.
You're thinking
Is
about
Bloody
Bloody Mary.
It's all these goddamn mirrors. Why are so many people in mirrors?
I don't know. I'm not looking at mirrors and I'm not saying the damn
I'm not doing it tonight. I'm not doing it tonight.
So B, man, let's talk about that first trailer, man, for Eternals, the final trailer there that came out recently. I think it was last week sometime that it came out. And man, what a different trailer that was.
It was a different movie.
Got into the freaky freak of Marvel. Celestials.
Was it giving you like Man of Steel vibes?
A little bit of Man of Steel vibes, but also just something a little bit deeper. And then it got me with one of these things. The people who haven't watched the trailer, please go to YouTube, watch the trailer. You know, when she talked about the energy that came from the people disappearing and reappearing and the stones being used, I'm like, is this leading to the mutants? I don't know, because they never mentioned anything about, I mean, they did kind of mention the energy, especially I remember when they showed Thanos using the snap, they showed the world like explode with like this energy around it kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they also talked about when he destroyed the stones, the energy that came off of it was able to be, seen and accounted for. But, you also have some deepness with these characters for the Eternals that have been around. You kind of get why they haven't been around for a while because they were told they can't interfere. But this is something different because apparently the world has 7 days.
And this is like 5 months after Endgame, apparently.
Yeah.
So, like, on the timeline of things, this is happening after Spider-Man that's coming out in December?
I don't know exactly what's happening because we have WandaVision that happened directly after Avengers.
It was like a week, it was like a week later.
We have Captain America that was, I think, around the same time. Loki is all over the goddamn place. I don't know where Loki is. So it's interesting because Spider-Man's supposed to be a Christmas movie, so it's supposed to be December. So I'm not sure if this is one of those things that's happening while all this stuff is happening, or maybe it's happening in April. Right? A lot of stuff happens in April. April showers, flowers.
World-ending doom.
Yeah, why not? But Brandon, man, what was your thoughts on that trailer besides, Salma Hayek saying we have 7 days?
It was a very different trailer than the first full trailer that we got a couple months ago. It was exciting. It was different. It was a little on the darker side. It had a little bit more comedy, where the first trailer wowed you, with the spectacle of civilization and all that things. This one's like, here's what's going to happen right now. So it's got me feeling like this movie's going to take place in 2 different times, where we get to see the past events. And then I guess we'd spend the most time in the current time. But, seeing how much of that last trailer wasn't happening in real time. Well,
Hmm.
what we think. I don't even know where we end up in half of that movie, but you know, it seems like we might get a bit of past and present with that. So I'm very interested now that we can see who they're fighting. You know, we saw shots of the deviants. The I forget the name of the major deviant that is their main enemy, but like we get a shot of him. We get a little bit of purpose, maybe some connection because he does have a relationship with one of the other Eternals. So I'm really excited to see where this goes. I think Marvel might be onto something here, basically because they said F the Inhumans, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta tell you, I was very impressed with the way the deviants look. They look kind of like wiry monsters, and they look big. But one of the things that surprised me was like Icarus looking like Superman. Shooting the
Right?
lasers out of his eyes and flying in the sky, and you
And then
see
getting
some
his
of the
ass
stuff
whooped.
happening. Yeah, it seems kind of interesting, and I do want to see more details about it. Um, I, I mean, I really don't know what to expect because I really don't know what the Eternals are besides this movie that's coming out. There's some people who are versed in the comic book lore that know more, but to me, I'm like a little bit confused with the Celestials. There was one guy who had like six lights on his face. There was another green guy that looked like a transformer. It's
And
like
there was ego. Yeah.
so it's like it's crazy to see who these characters are and what they are. I mean, the only Celestials that I know of was Ego the Planet, also, the destroyer that was in Guardians of the Galaxy when they were showing the Power Stone being used.
Oh yeah,
But that's
Isan.
it. So it's like I'm very interested to get into the lore of this, to get something new, right? We always talk about wanting something new, and which brings me to also the buzz that's happening with Shang-Chi right now. Shang-Chi is getting this major, major buzz right now because the movie just, I guess, was released out to people who do, the I guess, movie critics. They got the chance to see it this week or last week, and it's just been getting nothing but great reviews. And again, something different, something new. I don't know, man. Marvel's trending, man.
Oh yeah. I mean, to see that trailer and then for the reviews to come out of Shang-Chi and then mostly being positive and really, really high positive, it's got me really excited, where I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, where I was a little nervous about Marvel essentially starting over with characters, and while they did it with what they said were B-list characters like Iron Man and such, they're starting over again with these characters who aren't popular whatsoever. So to have this kind of buzz and it all be mainly positive, I'm excited to see where we're going now.
Yeah, man, absolutely, man. And like, any minute now, supposedly today's we're recording on Monday, August 23rd at like 9 something at night. And allegedly there's supposed to be a Spider-Man, No Way Home trailer. That's why I keep checking my phone. I'm keep waiting for this trailer to come out because it was supposed to come out already, but I guess not just yet. But if it does come out, the fellas and I will be back next week to talk about that Spider-Man trailer because Marvel is on a roll. And speaking about Marvel, man, I mean, one thing that we didn't talk about last week with Al and Sanj, last week was What If, the series that's on Disney Plus. We didn't get a chance to talk about it because I think the first episode of What If, which was the story of Peggy Carter,
Yeah, Peggy
you
Carter,
know,
Captain Carter.
as much as it was cool to see Peggy Carter and to see the show, I didn't really leave impressed with that first episode. But then I watched the second episode with King T'Challa being Star Lord, and I thought, wow, what a difference, between the episodes. And I wanted definitely to get your take, Brandon, because you're into the comic books and everything like that. What was your take with the What If episodes 1 and 2? Like, did one stand out more than the other to you? And do you like this What If series so far?
I would say, to be honest, I think that this show is very cool in its concept, based off the What If comics. And, you know, I like about the first one the fact that it allowed Haley Atwell to come back and kind of get a moment where she kind of got screwed over with the Agent Carter series. Um, you know, so I was very happy that she got to come back and voice. I was very the first episode really kind of set up for me that people were coming back to actually do their roles. Not
Right.
everybody, obviously. Chris Evans didn't come back, but it was really cool to get those voices in there to make it feel almost real in a sense. I just didn't like the first episode story. It was very cool that, she became Captain Carter, that Steve actually ended up becoming the Hydra Smasher or Hydra Buster, whatever it was. I
Right. It
forget
was a form. Yeah, it was a form of
or
Iron Man,
Stomper.
but
Yeah, it was a
yeah.
form of Iron Man. And it was really cool, but that story has been told before with Captain America, like that exact way where the cube opens up another dimension and pulls like an octopus monster out. That's literally been done before with Captain America, so I wasn't really impressed that that's what happened and that
Uh-huh.
was the story. It seemed to be the story that was like world building, like in discussion of the show, and reading about it, it said that Captain Carter was going to be kind of like one of the tying factors for this
Hmm.
show. Like we may come back to her a couple more times.
Yeah.
So
There's actually rumors of her being in Doctor Strange.
oh shoot, that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
So
So we'll see.
it's interesting to see the world building. I wasn't impressed with the story for that one, but
Hmm.
episode 2,
Whoa.
holy moly!
I it, with episode 2, they caught me off guard with a couple of things. The whole T'Challa being Star Lord was kind of interesting, and then we also have a couple of surprises in there as far as let's just get right into it. How he convinces can't
Thanos.
remember Thanos to not want to do the genocide.
And he's
a,
getting racked on it the whole time.
a simple conversation changed his mind.
Right?
And then it was a joke the entire show.
It was a joke the entire time. And it was so interesting because like it was the Thanos. Like it wasn't like some fake Thanos or anybody else. Like it was the Thanos just from a different multiverse. Like it was crazy for that. And then Nebula. Only because he was Star Lord was Nebula like all dolled out. Like only because he was Star Lord. So it was very very interesting. I will say the second we had the adult T'Challa on screen and we heard Chadwick Boseman's voice. I got a little teary eyed because I was like, oh my gosh, like it's him.
Yeah,
And his
yeah,
performance was incredible during this whole thing. Like you would think that this guy has voiced cartoons before. It was
yeah.
very impressive his performance. I love the story. I think it was way better take on him becoming Star Lord and the dynamics between him and everybody else, and the story produced because of it, as opposed
Mhm.
to the first episode.
You know what I found amazing? If they had made this story or they had worked this story out about T'Challa after he passed away and they were kissing his ass the entire show was them kissing his ass. And I would have thought that was cheesy.
Yeah.
They wrote this story with them kissing his ass. Every person he met was, "Oh my god, T'Challa, the legend."
Yeah, like that whole intro being so different and him just cheesing over Star Lord, like like him actually being
Yeah,
impressed by Star Lord. That was so funny, like the whole dynamic of the entire episode, him and Yandu's relationship.
right.
While I'll always love like he's your father but he ain't your daddy. Like that while that line is great, to
Yeah,
see Yandu actually having a better relationship with T'Challa than Peter Quill, like that
yeah.
was that was just something. I really love that whole episode.
Yeah, and it goes to show you what a person's or a personality, a character can actually do if they were the ones in somebody else's place, right? Just switching them around. And granted, someone wrote this story and whatever, but it's believable because we know who T'Challa is. You know what I mean? We know who the Black Panther is inside and really is as a human being in the Marvel universe, of course, because he's not real. But does anyone doubt that he could have had a conversation with Thanos and convinced them that he was wrong? Like,
Like that's crazy to me. Like especially for them to like keep talking about it in the episode and be like, "Oh yeah, you genocidal freak," and like it was a joke, and he was just like fine with it. Like,
he's like, yeah, but it's random, you know?
but it's random. Like he kept trying to justify it in a funny way, and you're just like, "Damn, that's still Thanos." Like,
Right. And instead of being ravagers that steal and ponder and all this stuff like that, they were actually helping the galaxy, which is
Yeah,
just crazy. Just because of one person,
yeah,
they, and again, believable. Because I'm like, you know what? If someone could convince them, it'd be him.
it'd be him. Like I felt like the only other person that might have worked for was Steve Rogers.
Yeah, Cap. Come on, original Cap.
Right? Like I
Absolutely,
don't know.
man.
So I love that episode, and even like I would say it's mostly because of the performance, but I think the story alone, like even if Chadwick Boseman didn't voice T'Challa in the episode, I
Right.
genuinely really like the story. I love the fact that Thanos not being the big bad made someone else have to take that power, and it
Mhm.
being the collector of all people,
Voiced by Benicio del Toro, of course.
right? Who happened to have Cap Shield, who happened to have Mjolnir, happened to have all these other things, which was very interesting to see. But
Yeah.
it was a great story, and I like the fact that it ended on a note with Peter Quill in a way that says that we may have a part two of this story.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I was going to ask you next. I mean, because they are leaving off little things here. Like the first episode, I think it's the animal's called Gorath, which is supposed to make an appearance in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. You also have, like Brandon just said, Peter Quill does get met by the celestial ego, his father in the Marvel universe. So it's like they're leaving off these little things to be like, yeah, well, what's still happening there? What's going on next? Even in the first one, besides Gorath being appearing on there, we also have Peggy Carter now in real time with Samuel Jackson's uh, Nick
Director
Fury.
Fury. Yeah.
Yeah, Director Fury. So it's like, where does that go from there? Just leaving you little interesting little details. And I'm wondering where the third episode is going to go. I mean, I know there's supposed to be an episode where Doctor Strange is bad. There's an episode where
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man has the Eye of Agamotto. There's also going to be an episode where they have Marvel zombies. So I'm like
Yeah.
interested in knowing that. It's just a lot of interesting stuff. So it's like the first episode, I was like, okay, it's cool, but I might not watch the rest of this if it's all like this. The second episode's got me looking forward to the third episode for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a little mixed with everything because my thought this was every episode was going to be a one-off thing.
Hmm.
And so I was really hoping that these would be more one-off stories, but I am interested in seeing where these might build to. Because like you said, there's Marvel Zombies coming up. There's a lot of things happening, and I'm interested in seeing how it may connect to something else. But I was more so hoping these are one-off stories.
All right. And then, Brandon, just the last thing on the Marvel What If, there, just your opinion. Do you think that these Marvel What If shows are just what ifs, or they're different timelined versions of the MCU that's going to maybe play a factor in the overall MCU?
I actually think that this is going to go somewhere. It may not lead into the big MCU, but I think it's going to lead to something else. Just because, like, if you pay attention to how the Watcher talks at the beginning of every episode, he keeps talking about nothing's going to get him to meddle or to join in or to have to make an appearance. But then, like every episode, he says he gets a little bit more cautionary about it. So I feel like whatever I feel like these are all going to lead into one big event, and he's going to have to step in, kind of a thing. So I have a feeling that the Watcher is going to join in for something, for some reason, and this may lead it to something else. Maybe it's just cameos, another movie because of multiverse, but I think this is going to have a story that leads somewhere else too.
All right, man. Yeah, I like I said, I've heard rumors that some of these things are going to appear in the Multiverse of Madness movie with Doctor Strange, but then again, those are just rumors. Not sure if that's actually true or not. So we'll see. And let me do my every minute check to see if that Spider-Man trailer dropped. And no, not yet. Jerks. Yeah, man. So let's check in now with the Free Guy movie because you got a chance to watch it, Brandon. Wanted to
Yes.
get your takes on Free Guy there. We're gonna do a spoiler review. So listen, if you wanted to, if you guys are listening out there on you watching on YouTube or listening on a podcast app there, the last episode we did a non-spoiler review of Free Guy. So we're gonna go into a spoiler review now with me and Brandon, where we talk about some of the things that I was telling Brandon he needed to go see. and find out his take on it, man. So, Brandon, with Free Guy, first of all, I told people this was one of these you need to see these movies. There's three need to see movies. It's A Quiet Place Part Two, Suicide Squad, and Free Guy so far, and that's it. Those are the needs to see, And I really enjoyed myself with Free Guy. What about you, man? What was your experience like at the movies?
I was genuinely surprised. I thought it was just going to be kind of corny and, nothing too crazy. But I had a great time watching it. I loved it. It was funny. It was charismatic. It had a lot of heart and just a lot of cameos in there that I wasn't waiting for. And then just overall, like just a fun movie that I really enjoyed.
Absolutely, man. I mean, speaking of cameos, that which right off the bat, Channing Tatum being in the movie, I I did not expect to see him in there and be the character that he was. It was just, he pulled off all the Fortnite dance moves.
Right? I need Channing Tatum to suck it up and do a 23 Jump Street already. Like I need him back in comedy because his brand of comedy, which is very slapstick, very silly, almost on the stupid side, as you would quote unquote say it. I think it's just very funny and it's often needed.
Yeah, man. Brandon, we're going to take a little time out, Brandon, because I just got a notification that the Spider-Man No Way Home official teaser trailer has just dropped on YouTube. I knew this was going to happen. So I'll tell you what, fellas, ladies and gentlemen, Brandon and I will put a quick pause. Al's going to hook us up on the video there, and we'll be right back with a review for you on the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. Oh, it's got to go down. Yes. So Brandon and I are back. We apologize for quickly just jumping off this podcast before, but we've been waiting all day for the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, and it dropped just a minute ago or two. Well, actually 3 minutes because that's how long the trailer is. And Brandon and I will give you a complete review right now of the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. Holy Jesus.
What the fuck?
I got to tell you this, though. For everything that the hype that this movie has been getting, I don't think the trailer really delivered on the hype because of the first like 2 minutes. Then the last minute of the trailer, I'm like, what the fuck?
I was very serious. I thought like Christopher Molini was gonna show up and do some Law and Order shit.
It's crazy, man. So listen, the beginning of the trailer, apparently we are continuing from where we left off.
Yeah.
Where we left on for for Spider-Man No Way Home. No, Far From Home.
Far from home.
Where, the oh my God, I can't remember the guy's name right now.
Mysterio.
Well, Mysterio, reveals who Spider-Man really is as Peter Parker, and we got the what the fuck, so and apparently this goes right into it, and I know that's one of the things that we talked about a long time ago when we heard that they were making a Spider-Man No Way Home, was would they continue this story, would they have it go on, and apparently it's a big part of this movie,
Yeah.
And what was your thoughts, Brandon, on the beginning part of this trailer?
I thought, it was very like intense, but in a non superhero way. Like, you have him arrested. He literally has handcuffs on. He's being detained. He's being questioned. He's being slammed in front of lawyers. And so we see the first part of this trailer is just him being taken in by the law. Charlie Cox. But like that'd be a nice little cameo there for him,
We'll see.
But it was very much, having to fight the law for his, I would say, namesake and freedom.
Right. It looks like everyone knows who he is now because you can see in the screens behind them where J. Jonah Jameson is saying Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and it looks like he's going to school. People are taking pictures of him. He's walking in the streets, and people are looking at him and saying Spider-Man's the devil because, of course, they all assume that he killed Mysterio.
Yeah.
So that we get that, and it looks like he comes up with a plan to talk to Doctor Strange to see what he could do to kind of fix it. And we get Doctor Strange. We actually see Doctor Strange, and it's funny because his I'm sorry,
Wong.
Wong, tells him don't cast that spell. But yeah, it looks like Doctor Strange doesn't give a damn. He wants to cast a spell, which is crazy to me because I don't understand why he would. If Wong knows how serious the spell is, why would Doctor Strange not care or still go through with it? It's something I want to see.
Kid at heart. He's a kid at heart. That's why.
I'm going to be curious to see what happened there. Maybe a lot of the stuff that's happening to Spider-Man is really, really serious. So probably that's why he's willing to help him and go past those codes. But you see him doing this, magician thing with a spell. But while he's doing the spell, he's telling Peter, hey, no one's going to remember you're Spider-Man. And all of a sudden, Peter Parker is like, wait. I think Mary J should know, MJ should know that I'm Spider-Man or Peter Parker. And then Ned should know, and maybe my mom should know. And you hear Doctor Strange saying, you're ruining the spell. Stop talking. And then he kind of says something about the multiverse, which is kind of crazy. Then a big explosion happens, and we are now God knows where in this multiverse. And then I think this is where we get towards the last few minutes of this trailer, which starts to get a little bit like, holy shit, what's happening? Because we see the device that the Green Goblin uses, those little pumpkin,
one of those bombs. Yeah.
One of those grenade bombs. So it's like, we never heard that Green Goblin's in the movie. And I swear to you guys, in Captain America and the Winter Soldier, one of the grenades used looked like those pumpkin bombs that the grenades that Green Goblin uses. So I'm not sure if that's tied into it, but I'm sure this is trying to hint that the Green Goblin is in this movie. And then we see the claw from Dr. Octopus, and there we have it, Brandon.
Alfred Molina. Alfred Molina. Hello, Peter. Oh my gosh, why does he know your name? I am very, very, very awestruck by the fact that, listen, I understand we didn't see Toby, we didn't see Andrew. I understand. But
we don't
the
need
fact
to see
that
it right now.
Yeah, but the fact that we got to see, just those two. I mean, we know that Electro's going to be in there. So now it's just like what the fuck happened in this spell that potentially opened up the multiverse or created a multiverse in which this Spider-Man is the Spider-Man they know. So I am very, very intrigued, and I am blown away at the fact that we could potentially see Green Goblin. Which one,
right?
We'll see. I'm assuming we'll probably see.
Not Dehan. Please, not Dehan. Green Goblin.
I think that's what we're going to see. I think that's the one. I'm pretty sure because I think that's the one. And just the fact that we saw Alfred Molina, who to me seemed like the big villain of this movie.
Wow.
So, for us to get a glimpse of just a bomb and then him makes me feel that when we see Electro, when we see potentially anybody else or whatever's going to happen here, we're just going to go nuts. Yeah. I'm excited. I'm amped.
I'm amped too, man. I mean, listen, it's a Marvel movie. I'm always going to be amped up for those movies. But I got to tell you,
Marvel Spider-Man.
I was expecting something bigger, crazier, but I'm happy. I'm happy that we got the trailer.
It's a teaser.
It's a teaser. For all the hype this thing has been getting for the last couple of weeks, months, I thought I was going to get something even crazier than that, but I needed to relax. They weren't going to show me Toby and Andrew. Not yet.
Mephisto.
Oh, man. So I can't wait to watch that trailer a couple more times tonight. and see what I do see, and maybe get more hyped up for it. But I guess my expectations were just too high as usual with these movie trailers, and I didn't get it there, man. But I listen. I still like the trailer. I'm still looking forward to this movie. Oh, December can't come soon enough, man.
Merry
Uh,
Christmas.
Merry Christmas, right? Oh man. And before we were rudely interrupted by YouTube, we were talking about Free Guy.
Yeah.
So let's get back to Free Guy,
Oh,
there,
that
Brandon.
little movie.
That stupid movie, whatever. Waste of time. So listen, man. One of the things we didn't get to mention again, we were talking about Channing Tatum being in the movie, a character in the video game construct there for the movie. It was pretty cool to see him acting and doing the funny stuff. Like Brandon says, he really just needs to do a 23 Jump Street already and get it over with, because those first two movies were incredible. 21 Jump Street and 22 Jump Street were just ridiculously funny. So I'm looking forward to hopefully a 23 Jump Street someday. But his character was good. I think the story itself was just amazing, as far as like it was just well written, because at no point in this movie did I think it was corny. Did I think that it was stupid or like what, like a kiddie movie or anything? I thought it was just a great movie. It was a love story. It was a sci-fi, an action story. It was just all these things at once. How about for you, Bree?
I thought it was great. The overall story just had a lot of heart in it,
That-
and it just it translated the entire movie. Like there wasn't any part of the movie in which I was just like, oh, okay, when we get past this part, like every part of the movie was just really entertaining. Like just watching him forcing himself to level up,
Yeah.
to just win affection,
Well,
like
level up as the good guy.
yeah, level up just to gain affection, like just because he thinks he needs to, it's like he doesn't understand like what he is, who he is, and his purpose, and the whole story behind that. And I genuinely liked Taika Waititi as the bad guy, because he played like the unknowing but like deviant bad guy, and it was actually pretty funny. I genuinely enjoyed his role there. Um, I just think even all the supporting actors, they did a great job. Like I don't think any of them didn't commit as much as Ryan Reynolds. Like each of them gave it their all.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And again, it was a funny movie. It was an action movie. It was a heart movie. It was just a lot of different things, and it worked well. Now, I would love to consider myself not a Marvel fanboy, not a Star Wars fanboy, not a Disney fanboy, but I think I am, Brandon.
Oh, I know you are.
Because let me tell you something, man. The movie, I was already into the movie. And then we get to this final battle scene where he's versing Dude, who's a bigger version of him.
Dude, guy versus dude.
Yeah, pretty much. And there's a scene where Ryan Reynolds tries to fight off Dude, and he selects things, and he's looking for something to use on Dude, and he chooses Captain America's shield. And when he pulls that bad boy out, I lost my goddamn mind. Then I see Chris Evans on the screen going, "What the fuck?" And I lose my mind again because Chris Evans is on the screen.
And they played the theme too.
Oh my goodness! Is it me, or did he pull out Hulk arms or Hulk hand?
I think he pulled out a Hulk arm. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, after the Avengers theme is playing, which is, it just does something to the heart when you hear the Avengers theme.
Yeah.
And then we get, did he just pull out a lightsaber? And you get the Star Wars theme in full movie surround sound. Ah, I lost my goddamn mind. Brandon, what was your reaction when you saw those things? Because you didn't expect that. There's no way you expected that.
I didn't see that coming. Like there were so many cameos in that movie. Like, Hugh Jackman was in that movie. There was so many people in that movie that just, even The Rock was in the movie. Like to catch all those cameos was hilarious in itself. But then to get Captain America's shield, like that was nuts.
Time out. I did not know Hugh Jackman and The Rock was in that movie.
Yeah, they were all in the movie. They were a disguise. Hugh Jackman was one of the people that they kept talking to. Like he had the mask on, And then The Rock was one of the guys who robbed the bank.
Stop playing. I didn't even notice.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman. They had him like talking twice. Like he was on the screen talking twice as a character. And
Uh-huh.
he was the guy that had the mask. I think it was like a black and green mask.
Uh-huh.
And he talked like he had a boat quarter on, but it was Hugh Jackman. And then The
And The
Rock was
Rock,
one of the bank robbers.
oh my Lord. I did not even notice that. That would have made it even more better for me. Yeah, I would have loved it more if I had known that. That's crazy. I didn't even notice that, man. But yeah, but I mean, just Brandon, just the movie was overall for you a need to see, must see,
I
wait and
would
see.
honestly, I would say you need to see it. Like if we've been talking about these movies now in the last year, like on HBO Max and things that have came out, and they've been lackluster because the hype and the anticipation, for all of these movies have kind of outweighed the actual viewing of the movie. And this movie is like one you I've never considered actually seeing.
Right.
Like I thought it was just gonna be corny. I thought it would just be something I like because of the video games. I might get a chuckle because it's Ryan Reynolds. I love this movie. Like this is taking the cake for me. Like I I'm gonna break some hearts here and offend some people. I like this movie better than I liked Suicide Squad.
Oh, wow. I mean, listen, to each his own, man. Definitely, because you like old and I didn't. I did not like old. I wanted to kill you after I watched that movie. I
I don't know.
legitly, I logged off of our podcast that day and go, Brandon really hyped this movie up. I'm gonna go see it right now.
It was very cringy. I just thought it was a
Very,
good story at the end.
very cringy. Very cringy.
But
Oh
I
man.
don't know. Like I love this movie. I thought it was great. Like I would honestly go see it again.
Uh-huh. And then Brandon, would you be happy to know that they already greenlit a Free Guy Part 2?
I mean, I get a little testy with these things. I loved Free Guy, and I thought the story itself was good enough to be on its own.
Mhm.
I just hope that when they do number two, it doesn't suck. Because like
Yeah.
they can't just let a good thing go. Like, like
Yeah, that's the thing now. If a movie makes too much money, they have to make a part two to it because it's like, well, let's keep it going. Let's keep making money. But I think there's something said to be making a movie and it just stand on its own by itself. Like
yeah,
Joker should be by itself on its own, but I'm hearing they're working on a Joker part two.
why?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
See, I feel
But
like when a story comes full circle, there's no need to extend it.
let's be honest, Brandon. You and I will be the first ones to see Free Guy 2 and Joker
Of
2.
fucking
So
course we will. Of course we will. There's no
absolutely,
doubt
man.
about it.
Oh man. And now listen, let's end the podcast here with the Candyman prep real quick. I mean, there's nothing really to prep because I really believe that this is going to be a brand new iteration of Candyman. Now, granted, we've already seen the first one, and I believe there was like 3 or 4 like sequels that they went straight to video kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting that they went with reviving this franchise all over again. But from what you remember, Brandon, any takes on Candyman or something that you're looking forward to seeing in this movie?
I like that they're changing the story around a little bit. I know this one is a little bit more politically charged and has more to it. A little bit more to it in terms of its gravitas and story that it's going for. And I really appreciate that story, as the original story was very straightforward. You just had a guy that was a killer, and he ended up with a bunch of bees and got on fire and haunting mirrors. It was very one dimensional, and it was 1992. It did its job as a scary movie. Like it got people to be just as afraid of saying Bloody Mary in a mirror. Like it did its job. It was a scary movie. It was very creepy. The original man who played Candyman, I can't remember his name. I think he's absolutely incredible. And the hope that in some way, shape, or form he's in this movie would be awesome. So I'm looking forward to this new take on the movie because it's got a layer of complexity to it, where especially it's is who's directing this movie is the guy from Get Out, right?
No, well, he's a co-producer on it
He's
with
a
someone else.
co-producer. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Just like you have the thought that this is going to be a horror movie, but I think this might be a psychological thriller as well. Like, is it in his mind? Is this really supernatural? I like that there's a
Yeah.
twist to this potentially, where it's not straightforward that Candyman is a supernatural being. Like, this could be anything. This could be this guy going crazy. So
Right.
I appreciate that this new take has a layer of complexity to it.
Yeah, listen, I'm glad you said it's a psychological thriller because then I'll try to convince my wife to see it, even though I know she's not stupid. So she will not see it once she knows it's Candyman. So I'll tell her it's a psychological thriller, Brandon. Thank you. But
Got you.
yeah, and one of my favorite actors right now coming up from the movie that I saw on Netflix with the Trial of the Chicago 7. Yahya Mateen is in this movie as he's the lead in the movie here. He's also the Black Manta from Aquaman, but from his acting chops in the Trial of the Chicago 7, I definitely want to see what he can do now in a horror movie by himself, pretty much. And I'm looking forward to the movie. And like you said, it's going to be a different take. It's going to be something that is more of a political kind of like maybe a way of telling this story. So we'll see how that affects people and if it makes it more relevant to today. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing this movie this week. I know it's coming out this Thursday, so I know me and the fellas here, we're going to give it a watch. So, you guys who are watching on YouTube or listening on the podcast, you guys got to come back next week to catch the review of Candyman. We'll let you know what we think about this movie and what its effect was or what we think about the story that it's trying to tell and everything. So it should be an interesting take on there. But listen, that's going to be us for tonight, man. I mean, that came out crazy. Again, we apologize for cutting the podcast short really quick in the beginning and coming back, but we had to talk about Spider-Man No Way No Way Home. We had to do it. So, I hope you guys don't mind that. And in the future, if things pop up like that, we will do it again. So it's just amazing, man. I'm glad we got a chance to talk about it. And B, again, I thank you for coming on tonight, man. And again, man, if you are watching us on YouTube, hit a comment section down there below. Let us know what you thought of the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer or your thoughts on what you want to see in Candyman. You could always reach us at therealfanreview@gmail.com. If you're listening on the podcast, let us know your thoughts on the email there, and we'll gladly read it on the next podcast there. So again, coming out of Long Island, New York, we got my brother B.
Adios, everybody.
And myself, Hav, guys, saying good night and thank you for always watching and listening. Hit that subscribe button. Sanj will tell you to smash it. Hit the subscribe button on the YouTube or hit the podcast plus symbol there. That way we become one of those podcasts that show up on your phones there every week. Guys, thank you so much. We'll catch you on the next episode with a Candyman review. Till next time.